there it goes. Go, 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 go.
Rick, that would be you, except you're muted.
There you go. Now you're not muted.
You're not
muted. Hello,
everybody.
Now. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Forestry and Sawmill Roundtable. This month's special guest is Will Johnson, president of Timberking, located in Kansas City, Missouri. And let's see here. Will, you want to say hello to everybody real quick?
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here. Excited. Can't wait to see what we get to talk about tonight.
All right, so get your questions ready. Timberking is another American-made product, another American business, and that's what we're focusing on tonight. So go ahead, Will, take it away and tell us all about your business.
Well, we are an American business. We're an old family business. In one way or another, we've been around since 1929. My wife's great grandfather. I'm trying to remember if it was great or great. No, it's my wife's great grandfather. My kid's great grandfather founded the company under the name Bell Saw back in 1929, and in one form or another, we've been around ever since. Some older sawyers some guys grew up with old Bell Saw circle mills that were PTO run. That's a great tradition that we're really proud of. But then, obviously, like everybody else, we've come into the band mills in the last 35-ish years. I've been with the company for 30 years exactly, and have enjoyed most of the minutes of it, not every minute of it, but overall, it's a great business to be in. I'm always just blown away by what our customers do, build, make, create with their machines. That's probably my biggest joy or excitement out of the business, is just seeing what people do with our machines.
Nice. I didn't realize Bell Saw was Timberking at one time. I had a Bell Saw years ago.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's an incredible heritage. Yeah, we made the circle mill until 1998, I think, is when we stopped making them. Unfortunately, they were dangerous. And so, in the reality of all the lawsuit, the lawsuit culture that unfortunately we're in, we just had to stop. We just had to stop making them, unfortunately. But it's an incredible heritage we're in. We just had to stop. We just had to stop making them, unfortunately. But it's an incredible heritage.
Somebody's playing that.
What
Who's
is
playing
going
that?
on?
I don't know. Somebody's
Well,
playing in the background.
I don't know if it's me. It
I
might
found
be
I found my bell saw no problem at all.
well, yes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, they were. No, but I mean, it's a cool, not so much anymore, but I mean, my first 15 years here, I mean, it was incredible just talking. There were guys calling up who had mills from, the 30s and 40s who were still using them. They were elderly
Right.
at that time, but I mean, that was amazing in the 90s and early 2000s when a lot of these guys who had this bell saw mill for 40 or 50 years were still using them. I mean, that's gone by the wayside now, but it's a cool heritage that we're really proud of.
Still a lot of bell saws out there. I see them for sale occasionally on
Yeah.
the sawmill forums.
Yeah, no, they're still out there. We had, unfortunately, we when we stopped making it, we got into kind of a catch-22 situation because we weren't making the machines, and we had a lot of parts, but once we got through those parts, to make new parts in small batches was expensive. And then of course you'd have a guy call and want the part, and then the price, he's like, what? No, that's crazy. I'm not going to pay that. So eventually we stopped making parts for it because we would make the part, but then the price we had to get for the part, the guy didn't buy it because it made him mad how much we wanted to charge for it. So it was, yeah. But,
Yeah, I only had my bell saw for a short time before I bought something else, but it was a pretty simple saw. It wasn't very complicated at all.
No, I mean, they're super simple. And yeah, I mean, a lot of them out there. One of the stories, I've told this story before. I think I told this story to Neil actually, but it's kind of a cool story. This was my wife's, at the time, my wife's grandfather was running the bell saw company during the Second World War. And of course, steel was being rationed during the Second World War because they needed steel for the war effort. And the War Department wasn't going to let bell saw have any steel, which, is a problem if that's, if you're in that business and you can't have any steel. So he wrote a letter to the War Department, a very direct letter saying, hey, the war, especially back then, the war effort requires wood, and these things make wood, and so you should give me the steel. War Department wrote back, no, not doing it. So then he wrote another letter to the War Department that was like 8 pages long with sub paragraphs and heretofore and thereto what and whatever, and really boring and weird and convoluted and bureaucratic, and they approved it. Came back and let him build sawmills. So, and a lot of those, and there were a lot of mills used in that war in particular that were shipped out to theaters and actually used in theater. So there's a lot of cool. I mean, I could go on and on about bell saw history. It's really a cool history.
Yeah. Yeah, I ran mine with a 65 horsepower Massey Ferguson tractor, and I tell you, it would work the snot out of that tractor.
Yeah. Bog it down.
Yeah. Not a bad saw though. Not for what I paid for it. So
well, I mean, they lasted forever. They were cool. And then we started making the band mills right before I started, actually. So in the early 90s, I started in 95. So we started making band mills in the early 90s. We have a sister company, Woodmaster Tools, which makes woodworking equipment. And so those were sort of running in tandem at that time, and I guess continue to. So.
Okay, so how many model band saws do you have right now?
Well, let me see. It's embarrassing that I can't answer that question. We have the 1220, the 1220 CRZ, the 1220 TW, the 1400 TW, the 1620 TW, 2020 TW, 2220 TW, 2520 TW, and the 6000. So I guess that's 10 models. Plus, we have an edger as well, which is not technically a sawmill. So we have 11 major machines that Timberking makes.
You have that all written down on the ceiling, don't you?
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. I'm kind of looking, wait a minute. It's like, I mean, yeah, people ask me the prices of things. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Let me look on the website. I don't want to get it wrong. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the entry level mill. What's your entry level mill? You don't have to discuss price, but just tell us what it does and what it can do, and if it can be modified.
Yeah. So we sort of have an entry-level class, I would say, which is our 1220 class of mills. The 1220 CRZ, which is basically the 1220 on a portable package, and then the 1220 TW. Those mills are all manual feed, manual blade up and down with a ratchet system, solid welded, 4-post head, solid welded blade, support, and then solid welded but sectional deck. So the sections of the deck are solid welded, but they're 6.5 foot sections. So the standard cut length is about 17 feet, but easily extended to really any length. We've got people cutting 40 and 50 foot material with those machines. Like any of the manual machines, it's a great beam machine, and that's a lot of people use it for that. So then that's the base 1220. The 1220 CRZ again is that exact machine, but mounted on a trailer package, portable, with a optional winch system to load logs. And then the 1220 TW is the tall and wide 1220, just with a wider width winch system to load logs. I'm getting feedback.
Neil,
Yeah, I got it. I muted
phone?
Neil again.
It could be
Oh,
me.
it's his phone.
No, it's Neil. I muted
Oh,
him
it's
again.
Neil. Man, Neil.
Thank you.
Neil's always the fly in the ointment, man. No, so the TW we call the tall and wide width. It's got a wider width of cut. Always the fly in the ointment, man.
I can hear. I gotta listen on my phone. You're the only person I can't hear on everything. I can hear everyone else, and I do not know why. I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, so the TW tall and wide cut goes 36 inches off the cutting deck. If somebody will check the website and say I'm wrong. It may be 35, it may be 34, but it goes quite a ways off the deck, and then of course has 16 inches above the blade. So that's why we call it tall and wide, because it's got a really big cut throat, both side to side and top to bottom. Available in diesel and electric, as well as the standard gas.
Wow, really?
And
Nice.
and your diesels are Kubota? Some of them are, or all of
That
them?
diesel is not Kubota. That diesel, I believe, is a Yanmar. Our other diesels, the diesels that we put on our bigger portable mills are all Kubotas. We use only Kubota diesels. We just think they're the best, quite frankly.
Yep,
So
me too.
They're great engines. So knock on wood.
What size electric motor you have on that 2550? Is it a 30 horse or 25?
Oh, on the 2520. Man, you guys picked the wrong guy for this. To know all the specs. My recollection, it has two motors, because there's a separate motor to run. I believe it's got a 10 horse that runs the hydraulics, and I believe it's a 20 horse that runs the blade. So a total of 30 horse, but split into two motors. If I'm
Okay. Well, that wasn't a shot in the dark. We run an electric mill, so it's just
No, absolutely. My only thing I'll say to anybody who's watching this, if you double check the specs and I'm wrong, don't think I'm trying to be deceptive. I just, you know,
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all right, Will.
yeah,
Eric, I was trying to
just-
throw a
we're-
trick question out there.
that's right.
So we're
We're
one of
just
the
here,
weird
we
ones that run electric.
I know.
We
we
love
have
the,
a fun-
the electric mills are incredible. I mean, they're incredible. Just, and you guys know this because you run one, but I mean, just the silence, the fact that you're cutting wood and it's just that
Yeah.
quiet hiss.
It's unusual. The mill itself running don't make a lot of noise, but when you introduce the blade to the wood, that's where you get the noise. But you can hear the saw working. And I sit so far away, I can hear it working better than I can actually see it working.
Right. And I don't know if this is a question for you, but I imagine you can hear when the blade like is getting dull.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
oh yeah.
True. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the pitch changes.
Right. Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah,
You run one of the big diesels or the big gasoline ones, you just hear a lot of motor all day. It's nice when you get to the end of the cut, all you got to do is go off. And within a second, it stops and you can talk. And when it comes back at the other end of the mill, you go on. You get spoiled to it real quick.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really neat. They're
Don't-
great machines.
Don't worry, Eric. When you get my age, you don't hear anything. So
Well, I only wear one earbud and I put it in my good ear.
all right. So
Well,
Will, what's your next model up?
Next model up is the 1420. It has hydraulic feed, hydraulic forward feed, hydraulic blade up and down, but you do walk with the cutting head. And then it's a solid welded deck on a transport package, but everything else about the machine is manual. So it's sort of a slightly less manual machine than the 1220 series. Then you go to the 1620 TW. 1620 TW has again solid welded deck, 4-post head, power core, hydraulic loader, hydraulic bidirectional chain log turner, hydraulic log clamp, hydraulic blade feed, hydraulic blade up and down, and a standard computer set works. So that's the standard configuration on the 1620 TW. Again, there are options. You can upgrade the set works. You can get a diesel engine on it. Various options. 20-foot from the 1400 up, we have a standard 20-foot, 21-foot cut capacity up through the 2020 machine.
Okay.
So, Will,
right,
there's a question up there for you, Will. Any thoughts on a power feed add on the 1220?
We've talked about it. It's, we are, we don't like electric stuff. I mean, electrics are something we view as a necessary evil. We do, obviously, our computer set works is electric. We do have electric stuff on the mills. But it's sort of a philosophical thing. We used to make a mill called the B20. That was our first band mill. It was heavily dependent on electrics, and that was quite honestly where most of our problems were with that machine. So we just look on the 1220 as a simple, rugged, no nonsense machine that you're never going to have a problem with. You're putting an asterisk next to the word never, but and that's kind of our philosophy on that machine. And we just feel like, with an electric feed, we're kind of opening a can of worms. It is something we may do because people do want it. And it's that conflict between giving the people what they want or, kind of like sticking by your guns a little bit and saying, do you really need this on that machine? And also one of the virtues of a manual machine is manual feed. And sort of like we're talking about hearing the blade, one of the great things about a manual machine is feeling the blade, feeling the cut, being there right with it. That's one of the great, when I'm talking to customers, they're trying to decide through machines that, there's always this assumption that the more expensive machine is better, right? And I sometimes have talked to customers and said, well, no, there are things about the 1220 that are better. One thing I said earlier is how easy it is to extend and where you can cut big beams and stuff. And, you can go out as far as you want relatively easily and inexpensively. That's better than any other machine we make. And I think that direct connection with the wood is better in some ways than any other machine we make. So it's something we've considered. It hasn't been high on our list. We may do it because people want it, which is what you should do, I guess. As a company, you should do what your customers want. But I guess we're a little stubborn. Anyway, so I hope that was a long answer to say, no, we're not doing it right now, but we might do it. That would be a quicker way to say it.
Perfect.
In their defense, a power feed would make a better cut quality, because once the guy got the blade introduced, he could set that speed and just let it walk across there. Because I know pushing one manually is going to be a little up and down, as best you can try.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Although that is, it's funny you say it, because another conversation we have with customers about those mills is pushing versus the hand crank, because I do think the hand crank gives a more even pressure. Because you're right, pushing it inevitably, it's going to be doing that. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Now, I do miss a walk beside mill. We run one for 10 years or so. And when you're right here walking with the cut, you can see the blade, you can hear the blade. But now we've upgraded to electric, and I sit way back here, and you're missing some of that because you can see as the blade's going through the cut. Unfortunately, if I make a bad cut, I don't know it till Matthew flips it over and says, rope.
I didn't think it would take you that long to say that. Eric missed that.
Well,
go ahead.
I think one of the things is, just almost everybody should just start out on a manual mill just to feel it. You know what I mean? Right. It just has a feeling that you don't get, and mine's, an automatic feed, but sometimes you can hear it, you know what I mean? But you can't necessarily feel that wood and feel the cut in it.
And I think it also makes you slow down. One of the challenges we have with new owners, if they haven't sawed before with our more automated mills, it's just, they're obviously all fired up to go, but they don't, they're hurrying, and the mill will hurry. The mill will, it'll do stuff fast, but it's sort of like their knowledge isn't up to the level of what the mill can do. And I do, there's a big learning curve, and there's a lot to be said for starting out with a manual mill. I completely agree. Yeah.
Well, Tim and I got auto feed on our mills, but we can twist a knob and put it into neutral to make it manual. And sometimes we do put it in manual to feel what's going on because something just doesn't seem right.
Right.
We did that yesterday in a hickory.
Yep.
Tim was sawing a hickory and he got into a problem. So he went into manual mode. And it turned out there was a big knot in the middle of the log that you couldn't see from the outside. But we
like
were,
an old
we
branch
the lumber,
that had been grown over or whatever.
Right. We leave the lumber stacked as we're sawing until we're done. And he switched over to manual. He's, boy, something's wrong in the end of this log. So we do go into manual once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it makes total sense.
Well, I associate the sound with the actual pushing, like you said. You associate the two after a while.
Mm-hmm.
You get the feel of the push, and then you hear the sound, and you know how to back off a little bit. But that's just me.
I used to always have one hand on the push bar and one hand on the hand crank at the same, so you get both advantages of feeling it with one hand and the advantage of the crank. But now with power feed, it's nice.
Right.
Yeah. All right, you guys are talking. You guys are doing a good sell on the power feed. I don't know.
All right.
Well, it's not for everybody.
We have a lot of people tuned in tonight. You guys get
What is
get
going
the
on here?
questions out there. Tim will pop them up there.
Absolutely.
This is Will Johnson with Timber
What?
King, and he's here to answer your questions. So get the questions up there. Just don't sit there and watch.
What happened to Neil and Eric?
I don't know.
Oh,
Lost them both. They're both still here.
has
They're both still
anybody
here.
else got a little bit of like slowness? Like it's like bopping a little bit?
No, I don't. There it is. Oh, no.
Gone. Oh, there I am.
Okay.
My goodness.
There we go. There we go.
All right, you guys are back.
Where's
we got-
Neil? We haven't got Neil yet? Oh, yeah, he's just not. His camera's not back yet.
It
All right,
must
we
be
got two guys.
must be a
two guys
StreamYard
timber
thing there.
framing have popped
Starlight's
in.
good.
Yeah, I see that.
Hey, Dan. Yep.
Well, I guess I can talk a little bit until we get you guys interrupt me if we have questions. I'm not smart enough to know how
All
to
right.
do that.
Well, can
Well,
you
right,
see the
right
bottom of
there
your
up underneath you. See it?
Five?
They'll pop up on they'll pop up on the screen underneath you there.
Oh, I got something in the way. Hold on, I'm gonna have to move my camera. All right, wait a minute. All right. I'm on it. George and I are driving back from Timbertown.
There you
Yep,
go.
all I see, though.
that's
Oh,
where the
missile.
questions will pop up.
Okay, Mr. Brad, how are you? Okay. All right, well, I've got it now. Anyway.
All right.
Where's Neil?
You mentioned the Woodmaster molder planer earlier being related to them. Do you sell
Yeah.
their products or?
No, we're technically different companies, but in the same building. Forehead Woodmaster compared to Logasaw. There is a video on that, just that topic, on the Woodmaster YouTube channel. There are a lot of differences. I mean, the biggest difference is made in USA, which I think matters for two reasons. I think made in USA matters, but also made in USA just is so much better for parts availability. We're making the machines here, so we have parts on the shelf. Parts are standard Imperial measurement. Motors are standard motors you can go out and buy anywhere should you ever need one. Hopefully you won't. So that I think is the biggest advantage. Also, we just have a huge amount of institutional knowledge about making molding because of our Woodmaster. It's not a machine we're bringing in from somewhere else. The guy who designs and builds the machine is down the hall from me. So when you have questions, you've got really knowledgeable people to talk to. I think, I guess I don't want to be too much of a salesman, but we have a lot of faith in that machine and that it's the best in its class.
No, fire away. That's why you're on there tonight. Fire away.
No, I mean, that's a huge thing we have heard from people who own, I'm not going to name names of brands, but we've heard from people who own overseas four-side machines that they have a motor go out. We've sold machines to a guy who has a perfectly good overseas machine sitting there who can't get a motor for it.
Really?
So parts availability is a huge issue in that class of machine. We use heavier tooling. We have a patented jig that helps you set up your molding. I'll stand on my desk and say I really think we've got the best product in that class. Both because of the product itself, because it's made in USA, and because this is something we have a lot of knowledge in this building of how to make molding. And my competitors sell their machines, but if you start asking them questions about what do I need to do, how do I do this, I'm having this problem, they don't have the institutional knowledge to help you that we do. The bottom line.
Now, do you guys do insert carbide tooling, or is it all high-speed steel?
We can do carbide tooling, and we will, but mostly it's high-speed steel. Just because high-speed steel is less expensive, can be resharpened. Depends on, if you're going to do long runs, we will absolutely do carbide knives for you. But
that's mainly what we run on our winding molder is insert carbide.
Well, so you've got a whining, which is, and when I'm talking, we don't compete with whining. That's those are amazing machines. That's $100,000 machine. So that's certainly not what I'm referring to when I'm talking about that. But I'm talking about machines that are competitive in price to our machine and in that category.
I can hear you now, Will.
Oh yeah, Neil, right on.
It took 30 minutes.
We're back.
Took me a little while. I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should apologize, man. That's probably a good place to be. So
This is great.
yeah.
Now, a quick question on your Woodmaster.
Mhm.
Does the deck move up and down, or does the head move up and down?
The deck moves up and down on all of our machines. The head stays
You
down.
probably just sold him on one, though.
No, the deck moves up and down. Next time y'all redesign that and make a new model, make the deck solid so that you can have an in-feed and out-feed table forever, and then the head moves up and down. I have that problem with all planers. I got a big Grizzly planer over here, same way. I can't put an in-feed, out-feed table on it because the deck moves up and down.
We do have an in-feed, outfeed table that will move with the machine.
It adjusts on the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Might have to check that out. We've got a
But because I understand
tilt
exactly
sounder
what you're saying.
that has the same problem. The in-feed and out, the table moves up and down. So if you have an in-feed, out-feed table, it's got to be able to go up and down
Right.
about 8
Right.
inches.
Yeah.
And
By the way,
I have a question.
I'm not drinking beer, just so everybody knows.
that's not a big
Oh,
deal
darn.
on small things, but when you're talking about a 3-inch slab, 30 inches wide, you don't want to put too much man muscle into it. You want to just
Right. Right.
Craig, you had a question?
No, I was just gonna say my in-feed and out-feed adjust with the equipment.
that's
Okay.
good.
You do need a job. See, I'll have two guys.
I have looked at the Woodmaster because of the actual planing width. I think it's 24 inches.
Yeah, we have a planer up to 24 inches. And actually, that's another thing about the 4000 is that it will do up to 18 inches wide, which again is quite a bit more than competitive machines in that class. Probably more than your Weinig will do too, I would think. Actually.
The best I can do on it is a finished 8-inch board.
8-inch. Yeah.
It's
But
the
I can do
beast.
it. I can do it at 32 feet a minute all day.
That's the thing. No, those are amazing machines.
It's
They're
a
incredible.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you, Eric, so you have a kiln as well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What do you guys have for a kiln?
I've got a KD 250 from Woodmiser, or basically a Nile 200
Nile.
Pro.
Yeah.
Need another one. When you're going to
There you
start
go.
making kilns, they're not
Yeah.
hard.
Well, no, we used to sell the Nile kiln. I mean, it's a fantastic machine. And we now just send people to Nile because they were fragile to ship.
Yeah.
And so we kept having damaged machines and shipping, and then we were on the hook for them, and it just didn't. We would rather have Nile, just send our customers directly to Nile. It's sort of like what I'm saying about the Woodmaster stuff and knowledge. Like, we've sold this to our customers. They call us for help. We don't know anything about it. It gets damaged in shipping. We don't know anything about it. And it just made sense to have them go directly to Nile. And, Nile's got all that institutional knowledge to help people. And it's
Well,
only being
That's
shipped.
what we do. If I've got a problem with my Nile, I don't call the people I bought it from.
Right.
I call Nile.
Yeah.
And if I bought another one, I'd probably just buy it directly
Buy it from Nile. Well, and I think there's some stuff. I'm not trying to be mean to my friends at Woodmiser, but I do think there's some things on the Nile. There's some advantage. I can't remember what it is to the Nile, the directly bought from Nile kiln versus the one Woodmiser sells. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I have.
If you get their 200 Pro, you can get it with the heat booster already part of the package.
Oh, got you.
At a cheaper price.
At a cheaper price, yeah.
That's what I'm setting up right now, the 200 Pro.
Yep.
So Mike can put that 4000 to work.
Hey, trust me, Neil. Once you start boulder planing, kiln dried wood, you'll never go back because you won't have near the pitch, the buildup on your knives. I see people try to run this stuff that's been air dried, and it will run.
It won't run the same.
If you're running a pine species, you're going to get a tremendous amount of pitch because you didn't get that wood heat treated properly by just air drying it.
That's right. I got a solar on. I mean, I just couldn't pull it down to the 150 for 24 hours. But I want to step up so I can get volume.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and I know you guys know this. I mean, one of the things that we really have to do with that machine is really work to educate people, because people think, oh, we got a 4-side molder, man. I can just put anything in there, and I can put that sowsier in there, and the silk purse is going to come out the other side. It's like, well, no, that your wood has to be dry. It's got to be properly sized, and really. We really up front, before we even sell the machine, we have to make sure that you can't just, and you can't use green wood. You wouldn't want to anyway, but we'll have guys who want to just take wood right off the sawmill and put it in the molder. Like, no, you can't do that. We do a lot of, we sell a lot of 4000s, thankfully, but we also refuse to sell a lot of, not refuse, but coach people out of, say, hey, I don't think you need to maybe buy a kiln first, and because the wood really does have to be prepped for those machines.
So y'all stay tuned to the channel, because there will be some upcoming videos on this machine he is talking about. I just need to get really good with it, so I know exactly what. Yeah, I got to make the mistakes so I can show y'all how not to make the mistakes.
There you go. There you go.
All right, there's one question here I want to address real quick. I'll pop it up on the screen. Maybe some of us, okay?
I
ain't taking my hat off.
And I don't have a hat on, but I do.
What are you talking about?
I got baldness. I don't know if you guys
you got a lot. You got a lot of hair compared to some of us.
Some, but still. It's going. Give me a couple years. I'll have a hat on.
Yeah, I don't care.
I just assumed mine all fell out. I wouldn't have to worry about it. Be bald
just going gray.
Mr. Boatwrights is brave. He does Southern Yellow Pine. Southern Yellow Pine, anything is brave.
That's the only thing I could.
You're brave, Neil.
You're
brave.
Now, I believe Craig don't need a kiln because his trees don't get above 6% when they grow.
Our Southern Yellow Pine we run last week for a customer.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful.
Great grain. Look at the growth rings in it.
Yeah. Wow. Really nice.
Yeah.
Really
I'd run
nice.
that every day. But it's got to be good and dry.
That. Beautiful stuff.
So, yeah, that's the next evolution in most sawmill guys. They get into this as a hobby and they want to do a little more finished woodwork, and then you got to buy a kiln, and then you get into buying you some kind of 4-head, 5-head type molder.
Becomes
an addiction.
Those are the customers I just love talking to. I mean, that just are doing it from tree to trim, womb to tomb. It's so incredible.
I started out with the 721 planer with the Super Pro Pack, so you get all the mold and stuff. You got the attachments to where you can add the routers on the end and your bits. It's a very slow way to run your material, but starting out to get the feel of things, to see if that's what you want to do, it's probably the cheapest way to try to get into it. Because not only do you have the planer and the sander, and which I upgraded to the helical headed planer bit, which was great. You also have the routers. Also, if you decide you don't want to run it, you have those routers for other tooling.
I mean, it's sort of like on the sawmill side, the starting with a manual mill. Starting small, simple, slow is a good way to start.
Yeah,
It really is in anything.
How many times you had a new customer come in and they was trying to buy your, most expensive mill, and it's the first one they've ever owned, and you're sitting there like, man, I want to sell it, but I need to tell it to back down and start here.
We do that a lot. We downsell a lot. We really try as an organization not to upsell. Like, it's just not our culture. But we do downsell a lot.
It happened with the mill that I own now. A guy bought it in South Florida. He had to have him a mill. I forget his name. Anyways, he thought he was going to have time to cut. Got a big cattle ranch, all this stuff, and realized that he didn't have the time to cut, and that's where I picked the mill up there.
The biggest one we have is with our biggest mill, the 2520. You get the guy who, and it's going to be, for him, it's going to be like a Harley or something. But he wants the biggest and baddest, which if he insists on it, of course we'll sell it to him. But it's like, you don't need that. That mill really is mostly for the Northwest, for really big trees. And so we find ourselves a lot of times downselling from
What are you talking about, Northwest? We max out ours all the time. I saw 44-inch white oak this week.
I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
I've only seen one of those 2520s run, and that thing is an absolute beast.
And I will absolutely sell you a 2520. Is this
I'd like to see one up close.
Is that what we're doing? Because I'll sign you up right now.
Put your orders in now, boys.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we do. We end up having to kind of tell people to, hey, yeah, let's. And again, sometimes as long as you have that conversation, the guy's like, nope, I don't care if I don't have the biggest and baddest. I'll just, I'll look at it every day and feel inadequate or whatever. We'll say, yeah, we'll sell it to you, absolutely. But we really do try to get people, because we want them to be successful and happy. And if you've been, I think all of us have had that experience of being oversold something, and
yes.
And we don't. And I think that's part of being an almost 100-year-old company is, we really do take a long view of things. Like, we're not in it for, and I'm not saying any of my competitors are, but we're not in it for a quick buck. We're in it for the long haul, and the way you get to be 100 years old is by, taking care of people and doing the right thing. So,
well, you don't want to jump on Facebook Marketplace, because I get on there all the time and just look, and I hate to see somebody that bought a brand new sawmill. It's 3 years old and it's got 60 hours on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you not have a plan?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's, yeah, we get the one actually, in terms of like the morals of selling stuff, that's sometimes hard. Although it's not hard, it's actually ends up being fun. But you'll get a guy who's like not in good health, in his 70s, wants a sawmill. And the thing and for a long time, I guess when I was younger, I struggled with that. I don't struggle with it as much anymore, because it's like, you know what? He's probably not going to use it, and it'll probably end up on Facebook Marketplace, but he's going to be happy. Like, it's just, he's always wanted to do it. And
yep,
by gosh, it's not, that's, I used to feel, ambivalent about that, but I'm like, you know what? Let him do it. And it'll be the nice thing, I think, about our machines and some of our great competitors is, the machine, when he's done with it, and it'll hold a lot of value. And, but he's had that
stored indoors.
Yeah, stored indoors. He's had that satisfaction of saying, man, I always wanted a sawmill, and I got it. That's always kind of fun.
We're all old enough that we've all probably wanted a Harley and owned one, wanted a Corvette or a Mustang, and you've had one or two of those, wanted a boat, and figured out you didn't never need another boat.
Yeah.
But I put sawmill kind of in a different category for me, because it's more business versus hobby. But when I bought it, it was technically a business hobby.
Right.
My first one.
Yeah, I mean, what they always say about a boat, that the happiest day is the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
You know what boat stands for, don't you? Break out another 1,000.
What'd you say, Neil?
Break out another 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're always working on it.
Yeah.
We've got a mutual buddy in that same boat, don't we, Neil?
What's that?
We got a mutual buddy in that exact same boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Matthew's been chomping at the bits these last couple of warm days wanting to go fishing. And I'm like, you got work to do. You got a young son. You got a pregnant wife. Fishing's going to have to wait.
Like 20 years.
Yeah. I said, your best bet of fishing is give Mordecai another year or so and just tell Mama you and him and leave it. Other than that, fishing's going to be slow.
Mr. Boat writes,
Absolutely.
you got what you need. You don't, yeah.
That's it.
You don't need that other stuff. Do not. So
It's a lot more fun than a boat.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I mean, it's just, I never get tired of seeing a gnarly old log turn into board.
I had a big
Never
old
gets
bass
old.
boat 20 years ago, and I called it my $100 boat because every time I put the hitch on the truck, it cost me $100. Didn't matter. And that was 20 years ago. Now it's probably a $300 boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody should at least own one boat so you know what you don't need down the road.
Yeah.
Yep. Get that out of your system early. Same thing with a Harley. I don't mind. I don't blame people for owning one. I loved it, but I figured out right quick I was too old, didn't need to keep that thing. That little handle in there kept getting you in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll ask the hard question. You have the same thing as all the other sawmill makers, and the engine is not American made. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing the bearings, or not, or because the Kubota engines may not made American made.
Kubota engine is the only. All of our other engines are American made.
Okay.
That's cool. Kubotas are not American made because I'm always ready to be corrected, but there's just not. They're the best.
Right.
And usually American made is the best. And so there's a correlation, but we feel like Kubota engines are the best. And so if you look on our website, what we say, each mill has a little thing by it and says made in USA. And on the 2220 and the 2520, which are the mills that come standard with Kubota engines, we say made in USA with an imported engine.
Yeah. But your bearings, your belts, you know what I mean? All that those are the hard ones to get in the USA, aren't they?
A lot of stuff's impossible.
Yeah.
When I say made in USA, you have to have a certain percentage of your content. Our mills, every single item on our mills is not made in USA.
Right.
It's not like every single thing is made in USA. The worst one that's horrible, and I'll tell you this is a horrible story about what's happened to American manufacturing.
Yep.
I know I've told Neil this story. On our mills, all of our portable mills have standard sidewind leveling jacks on them. Okay. They are Bulldog brand, good brand, and we bought Bulldog jacks for years. One day, we get a big pallet, like a container of, not a container, but a big thing of Bulldog jacks. One day, our thing of Bulldog jacks comes in, and they're the Bulldog jacks made in China, no longer made in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they didn't lower our price, but so we found this was 10 years ago, maybe 15 years. It was quite a while ago. We found a company in Nebraska that was making sidewind jacks. They cost about 30% more, but we started buying those, but they went out of business. And I challenge you, and if you can find it, great, let me know. But you cannot buy American-made sidewind jack. Doesn't exist.
Right.
If somebody can prove me wrong, that would be fantastic because I would love to buy that jack. So there are absolutely not U.S. made there's non-US made stuff on our machines. We work hard to minimize that, but it's really hard, and it's, again, it's a constant battle, because this thing you're buying that's made in USA one day shows up on the dock made in China. I mean, and nobody's called you, nobody's told you. It just shows up. And actually, talking about, we also had a big issue during COVID.
Correct.
Just getting anything.
Right.
I mean, so we really had to, a lot of that, we were scrambling to get anything. There were components where me and the purchasing guy were literally buying stuff off eBay. Because our suppliers didn't have them. So that also, just the sheer availability of stuff that's pretty much over. Although, I mean, that lasted until into last year, where we were still having supply issues on stuff.
One thing about parts, though, I mean, every piece of equipment, there is stuff you have to replace, stuff wears out. Everything that I found on my 2020 is easily accessible within a short drive of my house to be able to get it. I mean, sometimes it's the auto parts store. So as far as bearings go, I can go right down there to there's a bearing warehouse. They have that. Everything is very easily accessible, and there's no back order on anything to have to wait for a while, because time is money, and the longer you're shut down, the less money you're making. You're putting yourself behind.
We definitely try to have stuff be standard spec when we can, standard stuff that you can buy. And I don't want to cut you off, Will, but the one thing I do give y'all props on, when I do call and order something, it's usually shipped the next day, and is within 2 to 3 days, it's at my house. I mean, which I'm not too super far from y'all, but the shipping is immediate. That's Marcus. Marcus has made a huge difference. I think Marcus has been with us for 4 or 5 years. He's made a huge difference. I mean, pretty much if we get an order before 3 p.m. our time, it'll go out that day. I mean, that's what we try to do. But again, we also try to have it be standard stuff, and we'll always give a customer a spec on something. Like if he's like, no, I got to try to go into town and get it today, we'll always give him the spec. And we try not to have proprietary stuff if we can avoid it. I mean, like our log turner weldment, you can't go to, Home Depot and buy that, but or Tractor Supply or whatever. But
just like a Kubota engine, you can buy it from Timberking, or you go down to the Kubota dealer and buy the exact same thing you bought.
Yeah.
In today's time, it's real hard on manufacturing to find, like, say, source American stuff. And we understand that sometimes you got to buy foreign made stuff. My only issue with that is when a company don't check the quality of the material coming in. I've got a brand new mill, and Matthew and I have replaced way too many bolts that should have been a grade 5, should have been a grade 8, but bare minimum grade 5, and they broke. The Rockwell was wrong on them. Now, I understand that they might not have been able to source that where they normally do, but when it comes in the door, somebody's got a Rockwell meter to plop on that thing and say, hey, this crap won't hold up. You're going to get somebody hurt.
Yeah.
That's my only issue is if that's the only place you can get it, hold them to the same standards you would an American manufacturer, call them up and say, hey, Joe, this batch of stuff you sent me is garbage. We're sending it back.
And that is, I mean, across the board, that's one of the problems with, I mean, let's just say it, right? I mean, that's one of the problems with stuff from China.
Exactly.
Is that they don't really have any compunction about.
I tell Matthew all the time, they made a part that looks like a part, but it ain't a real part.
Yeah. No, it is an issue. But it's frustrating too, and this gets onto the Woodmaster side, more the shop equipment side, where we have more direct overseas competitive machines. I mean, it's frustrating too, because I mean, we have a lot of customers who are willing to. What's the old Toby Keith song? You know, pay a little more for a tag that says USA. I mean, we have customers like that, and of course, we are so grateful for them. But it's also amazing how many potential customers we have who, you know, aren't that. You know, they're flying the flag, but they won't pay more. They won't pay a little more for our machine that's made in USA, and that's frustrating.
And that's a choice that you have to learn to make. Okay, I was just like every other consumer 10 years ago. I bought, you know, Amazon, whatever's cheapest, made wherever. Today, I make a choice. I'll pay more for made in America if there is a made in America option,
which is often there's not.
I bought a new blower to go on our dust suction system yesterday. I've had 3 V-board or Chinese ones burn up, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger and bought a ball door. Anybody knows anything about electric motors, you know, ball doors top of the list, but you're gonna pay for it.
Did you put the ball door motor on the blower, the existing blower?
I'm waiting on UPS delivery.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. For future reference, we also make cast aluminum blowers with American motors on them.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
But you got one. Yeah.
Well, I bought a brand new one the other day from a New York blower company. I bought it off.
Good.
I bought it off Facebook Marketplace from the guy that bought it new and never hooked it up.
Never hooked it up. That's the best for you. Yeah, that's good.
So, but that's for our future expansion coming soon.
There you go. There you go. Well, no, it is. It's this balance, because it is so heartening when you have, and I think that's what you've said, Eric, is a positive symptom of our time, because 10, 15 years ago, people truly did not care about Made in USA. And I do think it's swung back. I mean, we still have people who don't care, but we do have people who do care, which is and more than we did 10 or 15 years ago.
I'll say it this way. I don't mind buying anything that was made somewhere else in the world, as long as it wasn't made by people that hate us and hate this country.
Well, and yeah, absolutely. And also that, you know, are not, you know, they're not getting, you know, those companies don't have to pay health insurance. You know, those companies don't have to pay benefits. They don't, you know, so it's like the cheap, like I do think there's a difference between buying, and this, you know, in the 4-side molders, some of the competitive machines are made in Taiwan, some are made in Europe. You know, if it's coming from Europe, you know, those companies have similar cost.
Maybe even higher.
And so that playing field is kind of even. But when you're competing against people, you know, who don't have to pay their people anything, and again, who you know, they're paying taxes to government. This is not Taiwan, but you know, in China, they're paying taxes to a government who is actively trying to undermine our government. So when you buy that machine, you're indirectly supporting that government, 100%.
I refuse to anymore.
Yeah. No, we try. I mean, and again, unfortunately, all of us buy Chinese stuff because it's impossible not to at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you even get like
talking about American-made stuff.
You even take a bearing company like Timken, who is American-made bearing company, but they got 33 plants throughout the world that makes bearings for them. So they're not just American-made. I've bought Timken bearings and have China right on them when we get them, you know.
We're 5 minutes away from a Timken factory, and they're about 20 minutes away from another one that way.
Right, but what I'm saying is Timken is supposed to be American-made, but not all their bearings are made in America. They've got 33 other plants in other countries.
And I would hope Timken holds that overseas manufacturer to the same standards that they hold this one to and the one over here, as far as their finished product. And that's part of my issue with a lot of that stuff that gets imported. It looks like a part, but it's substandard.
Right.
The bearings are super hard. It's funny. I have this little to-do list on my desk, like literally right here. Like this is my little to-do, like this is stuff I need to work on. Okay. And one of the things on here, because what happens is just what you said, you've got this, there's a few companies that sell bearings and you order bearings from them and the bearings show up and you can tell them till you're blue in the face that you don't want Chinese bearings and here they come. And literally it says on here, Chinese bearings, because we get Chinese bearings from good manufacturers. And I'm always back and forth with my purchasing guy. Like, I don't want Chinese bearings on the mill. Well, we can't get, that's what we can get. So it is a battle. Bearings in particular, a battle because there's a few companies that make bearings. And as you say, they're making them all over the world. And we need this bearing, and they don't even really have a structure within their company. Like if I say I only want, or even like, look, to me, a Japanese bearing is going to be a good bearing. Like it's not made in USA. It's going to be good. And again, that company, because of that economy, that company has to pay its workers well. So it just feels like a more even playing field. But yeah, I can't. It's really we have yet to find a way to spec with a big bearing house because they don't have an internal system. All they have is, as you're saying, Eric, they have it's bearing number XYZ, spec number XYZ, and they will send us spec number XYZ, but they don't have any sort of system to say, Timberking wants XYZ USA. And they're going to pay more for it, but that's okay. Like it's very hard.
Well, manufacturing's coming back, but it's going to take a decade. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah,
it takes time for things. It took time for us to get where we're at, and it's going to take time to get away from where we're at.
And because it is a big cultural shift. Because as you were saying, Eric, we're just so used to getting on Amazon and doing sort by price, right?
Yeah.
Give me the cheapest. And also people, I can remember, and I'm sure the old guys, so sorry, Matthew, but all of us old guys can remember. Do you remember you used to save up for stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And not just as a kid. Our parents would save up for things. Nobody wants to save up for anything anymore. It's like, I want it now. And we've gotten so used to having cheap stuff that available stuff that we just, we're spoiled. And that's going to be a big, and I hope it happens, a big cultural change though, to say, you know what? No, I'm going to get it in 2 years, or I'm going to get it in 3 months or whatever. Because we've just gotten accustomed to instant gratification. And that's what's undermined.
Well, the American people are carrying more debt load now than ever in history.
Will you say that again, Eric? I didn't hear you.
The American people are carrying more of a personal debt load than ever in history, and that's got to change. We've all got to buy a house. We got to take care of families and such. But it's nice when all that, debt ends. Your house is paid for. You've got decent cars. Just making a mortgage and 2 car payments every month is not a way to live forever.
Forever. Mud saws and debarkers. Uh-oh. Back to sawmills. Darn it.
Sorry. I knew that was going to be a hard question. Sorry.
Thoughts on mud saws and debarkers. We do have debarkers available on our larger machines. Oh, good.
Hello.
Hello. Hold on, guys. My alarm company is calling me.
Hello.
Someone just stole your Chinese bearings.
He's like, yeah, I'm in here.
Maybe that's Gary on the phone, Neil.
Yeah, there you go.
Gary saw that question pop up and called me.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, exactly. Right. Quick dive away. Mud saws and debarkers. I think there's better, maybe, unless you're going to have like definitely a lot of muddy logs. We do have a mud saw and debarker available. I think there's better uses for your $2,000 maybe. There's some disagreement. We give our people, there's not really a party line here. So I have coworkers who will tell you should have one. I want my folks to be honest and straightforward with our customers. And so we don't always have a party line. And I will certainly sell you a debarker. The benefit it's going to give you, and again, unless you're truly like having a lot of muddy logs, but the benefit you can buy a lot of blades for $2,000. Let me put it that way.
Right.
So it depends on the individual circumstance, but especially for the average guy who is not professional, the average guy who is doing it as a hardcore hobby, I don't think he needs a debarker. If it's a professional and he is skidding his logs and it's muddy, yeah, Jason, my coworker, says sharpener and setter is a better investment for $2,000.
Yep.
I completely agree with that. Yep. So,
all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the other thing about it, again, there's so many kind of cool, and this is a little bit of I think a different philosophy that we have versus some of our competitors. And I'm not saying they're wrong and we're right. I'm just saying it is a difference. There's a million kind of cool little gadgets that you can do and make and have on a sawmill, electric gadgets. But those are also just something else to go wrong. And so again, your debarker, we use electric, and it's just unless there's a lot of value and a very specific need for it for your specific circumstance, I think there's better uses for your money.
I got a question for you, Will.
Yeah.
Did you have your wife call you at 9 o'clock in case things were going bad, so you had a reason to leave? There was the game show that was like the $1 million game show, or what was it where you called the
phone a friend?
Phone a friend?
Yeah, call a friend. Help me, get me out of here. Yeah.
We'll be at 9.
Now my wife is not going to be calling me at 9 because she has got a better offer tonight, so she is out and about. Yeah.
I just had to throw that out there. Sorry.
Yeah, there is one Timber King out there that's probably got about everything you can actually put on one humanly possible.
Yes.
He was texting me this morning what time he was coming on.
Yeah.
The most advanced Timber King out there.
I'm sure standing at the controls like a space shuttle.
But you know what? I will say, so over the years, so many of our best ideas have been things that customers do.
Oh yeah.
And we've gotten some great ideas from that particular customer. So
if it's done, he's done it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's things, there's mostly very practical, useful things on the mills we're producing now that have come from customers, and especially that customer. So kudos to all the guys coming up with cool gadgets for their mill. Yeah.
I was checking out your blades today on your website.
Yeah.
And they look interesting. But you have them categorized by your models, blade first, and so forth. Do you make them for other saws as well? For
we
like
actually,
a wood miser or something? We
do have blades. We have a blade that will fit most wood misers. We don't market it, but we do have a blade that'll fit most wood misers. It was for a machine we don't make anymore called the 1200. It's a shorter blade, but fits. Now again, I don't know if it fits the wide. I don't think it fits the wider wood misers, but again, the sort of classic.
Yep.
I forget what that blade length is, but it's sort of the classic wood miser blade length.
Probably a 144.
I think it is a 144. Yeah. I think that's right. Jason Harris may come up on here and tell me what I don't know. Jason Harris, if you're out there, what's the length on a 1200?
156, he said.
Oh, 156. Okay.
And 144.
Oh, okay.
And 144. Yeah.
So he's on it. You guys should have had Jason. He would have been way better.
But
No,
I've been quite entertained tonight. This has been great.
I aim to please.
so you want the other hard question?
Yeah,
Want
I
the
do.
next hard question? All right. So we got Jason Harris, Timber King here. We got Timber King Portable Sawmills, and we got Timber King Official on YouTube.
Oh, right. The YouTube question.
The YouTube question. So
The
your
YouTube
channel
question. This is the
I
answer to
believe
the
that,
YouTube question. The answer to the YouTube question is as follows. I am the marketing department, basically, of Timber King. As I like to say, we are a company with a big company muscle and small company attitude. And I am the marketing department for the most part. I have outside people. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So during COVID, everybody knows the sawmill business went crazy during COVID.
Mhm.
We basically stopped marketing. There was no point. It was a waste of time to market because all marketing was going to do is get us more sales. And we already had more sales than we knew what to do with. And so we stopped putting anything on YouTube. And in that interim, I also got a new phone and a new phone number. Our old YouTube account, everything was connected to that old phone and that old phone number. So when things slowed down and we needed to start marketing again, we can't get access to our old YouTube channel because everything's automated. You can't talk to a human. You can't call YouTube or Google and be like, hey, there's this issue. I can't, how can we work this out? I mean, we tried for months to get access to our old YouTube channel, but everything always came back. Basically, all I had to do was get a text on that old number. I mean, I even texted the number of the guy, whoever has the number now, is like, please, please, please. I mean, I know this is weird, but then of course I never heard back. So that is why we have two YouTube channels, because we had to start, once we started having to market again, we had to start a new YouTube channel. So that is the answer. We also have, we are on TikTok and Instagram as well. And Jason takes care of our Facebook page. So we try to be on all the platforms. My marketing, so I do have outside marketing people I work with, and they're in their 20s. And so they're always making us be on these platforms that I'm not sure we need to be. And Morgan's probably watching. So now she's composing a mean Morgan or email to me. But anyway, that is what.
Is there any new and interesting things or upgrades that y'all may be doing to any of y'all's equipment that you can share? So any upgrades to any mill or changes y'all are making?
Are there any? Yes. Am I ready to share them with you? No. I'll share them with you, Neil, off camera. But yes,
he can't keep a secret. He's going to tell us anyway.
There you go.
Make a video out of it.
There are some things in the pipeline. Some of it. So mostly it's mostly we are we're constantly improving the machines. Sometimes with we've recently done a lot as far as, that's why all the machines are now branded TW, because we've made sure that the machines go higher off the deck and have higher off the higher distance between blade and the top of the cutting throat. So that's a recent thing we did. If we do, the only reason we ever change model numbers actually gets back to blades. So if we do something that changes the length of the blade on a machine, that's when we change the model number, just to prevent confusion in the future. Because if we've got over 20 years, if we've got if we've got a mill with the same number, same designation, it's got 3 different sizes of blades, then everybody's getting the wrong size blades. So if we do something that changes the blade length, then we change the model number. So all the machines that are now designated 20 used to just be 00. So like the 2220 used to be the 2200. We made the cut throat wider. That changed the blade length, and so then it became the 2220. And yes, as Jason Harris is saying, as an example, the 1220 TW, we do have new style backstops on it. We've occasionally, that's a great, the clamps on the manual mills, that's an interesting story. Like sometimes you innovate and you realize it wasn't as good as the old. And we had a new style clamp that was like a screw style clamp on the manual mills, and we actually went back to what we'd had before. It was simpler, it was rugged, it worked well. Everybody wanted to order those instead of the new upgraded one, and so we went back. I mean, sometimes you try something new and it doesn't work as well as you'd hoped. The backstops, the vertical backstops on the TW are pretty cool. Again, that's not a huge innovation, but it is a change for that mill. But we do have some stuff coming up for sure.
On your Timberking, talking about blades, do y'all run a proprietary Timberking blade, or do you buy blades?
It is a proprietary blade. We don't have a blade factory. It is made for us. But it is a proprietary blade. Yeah.
There's a lot of technology in the blades.
No, it is, and that's the thing. We're able to leverage, just like I was saying about our 4000. Like, we have a lot of in-house knowledge about how to make molding knives, and how to make molding machines, and how to help people operate those machines. We're able to leverage the knowledge of our blade manufacturer to I think, make better blades, because that is what they do. That's not what we do. And so I think that ultimately gives us a better blade. And, again, a sawmill is a whole lot of noise around a blade.
Yep.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. So the blade is everything.
Important as the engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wait till you start.
Some
Wait till you start sharpening your own, and then you learn. Doing it right is right. Doing it wrong just don't work.
Yeah. That's right.
That's where I find having a manufacturer that produces and manufactures their own blades with their equipment is a bonus.
Yeah.
Well, and I understand that point, Craig, but respectfully, I also, my point is the opposite point, and I don't think either one of us is wrong. My point is, I've got my blade folks that I work with. All they do all day long is worry about blades. That's all they do. All they do all day long is worry about how to make better blades. And I'm able to leverage that. And I think that's an advantage. They have the newest equipment. They grind their gullets versus stamping their gullets. I respect that point of view, but I respectfully, think the other point of view has its merits as well.
And I assume that's an American manufacturer, close by.
It is a close by manufacturer. That's all I'll say.
Most of these guys are on YouTube, and they get people requesting them to try things, and I've had a bunch of these Chinese manufacturers want me to run their blades, and I won't even waste my time.
I can assure you, our blades are not made in China. We don't have the bearing problem with blades.
I have run European made blades because the American manufacturer during COVID couldn't produce enough of them, and they imported them from Europe, and they were made wrong. It happens.
They were wrong length, or what was wrong about them?
Had wrong set. Had like 5 degrees on one side, about 25, 30 on the other.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me a day and a jar. I filled up my swire jar. This all happened before we started sharpening blades, and I had the equipment to where I could take a blade and quickly check
Do it yourself, right?
the factory set. Now, if it happened again today, I'd go over and grab my set tool and I'd go, yep, 25, this won't run. And I could either send it back or fix it.
Yeah.
But at that time, I just opened a new box of blades and I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a bad day, wasn't it? Yeah. It was a bad day.
Well, and it occasionally it happens. I mean, we definitely will occasionally have a bad box of blades go out. It definitely does happen.
From several blade manufacturers though, has had that problem. With the wrong set, one set be set a few thousandths out from the other, so it's not just any.
It's called employees.
That's right.
Robert Milton just did a video on that a couple weeks ago.
Right.
He did and said the exact same thing. He had owned a mill prior, his first LT15, graduated with LT40. Guy came out and says, "Oh, mill looks great." It's like, well, what about a blade? Went and got a blade, pulled it out. Guy's like, "Well, you got another one?" So we went and got another one. Guy's like, "Well, you got another one?" He's like, "I got a whole box of them." That guy with that little bit more experience could see that he only had teeth set to one side, not the other.
Yep.
And that's the advantage of having a setter. If you're in the market for one and have the money to get you one, to sometimes you see that blade right out the box, do something crazy, go right there and take
a look at it.
All right.
Yep. It happens. I mean, anybody's got employees. Things happen. Now,
Absolutely.
if company stands behind it and fixes it, then hey, no problem.
That's what I always say is, you can't prevent problems. It's just how do you react to those problems. So
Just don't let it happen again. as much as you can.
Yeah.
Shipping definitely can affect it because we had issues with FedEx dropping our blades.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
If you ever this is for all you guys watching. If you ever open a new box of blades and you put one on and it cuts bad, take that thing off and look. You know, like I say, it may have got dropped in shipping. It may have been set wrong. If you don't have the tooling, you can use the laser eye and take a good look at it.
Yeah.
Greg, you waving?
Do all that before you fill your swire jar up.
My daughter.
Aw.
She knows I'm not a good typer, Tim.
Oh, that's good. That's why I threw it up there. I figured you'd want to read it.
I run into something here a couple weeks ago, and I got a sawmill question for all your northern guys. Since I've been sawmilling, we've not had a bad winter, and normally if it's super cold, we wouldn't saw much anyway. But now that we're full time the last few years, we saw no matter what the temperature is. We had some single digit temperatures a couple weeks ago, and I tried to saw some green poplar and could not make that stuff saw. It was just, we give up and went and got some southern yellow pine, and it was the same temperature, but it saw laser straight. Have y'all ever had any trouble in winter? The blade just wanting to wander in a frozen log?
Poplar might have been frozen, and it's
It was
softer
frozen.
log, and it's softer than pine, that yellow pine. So your blade was wandering. I don't know how you would fix it. Maybe go to a different degree blade.
I tell you how I fix it. It's sitting out here waiting on warmer weather.
That hickory I was hammering on yesterday.
In super cold weather, having trouble sawing flat because the log was frozen.
Right.
I found that in my softwoods in the winter, that when they're cold and frozen, the grain's more comparable. You know, it's a little bit more dense as if it would have if it was thaw,
Right.
where that blade's going to want to follow the path of least resistance. When they're frozen, it's a more consistent. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
these
that it's
these
been-
poplars, these poplars were fresh cut. They hadn't been on the ground a couple of weeks, and if you had cut it in the summertime and stood it over in the corner, water would run out of it. You know, they were super green.
Well, maybe it wasn't frozen solid, and you were hitting soft spots that wasn't frozen, and then hit like cutting a spruce with a lot of knots. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Your blade's gonna try to wander over the hard spots versus the soft spots.
It was bad.
And
maybe
Jason, we only run one type of blade here. We got the Woodmiser Turbo 7s because they're kind of the best all around that we use.
Yeah, I was fixing to say maybe y'all like me and don't have anything, don't have them 4 and 7 degree blade to 4 degrees for frozen wood.
No, don't keep them anymor.
Greg,
we've
they said it was like 2 degrees at his place. And I said, man, it's sunny and 80 here.
Well,
Not
no,
an issue.
we tried the Turbo 7s recently on a frozen ash, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was literally a disaster.
Yeah,
The 10
probably
degree,
a lot of
10 degree went right through it, but the Turbo 7, it was just horrible. It was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, that's the worst I've ever had. But like I say, that's probably the coldest we've ever tried to saw with logs that had been, 8, 10, 12 degrees for 2 or 3 days. They were frozen hard.
Mhm.
Well, the moisture content in poplar is a lot higher than the
Oh, it's
moisture
probably
content in your pine.
70%.
Right. And so when that moisture in the poplar freezes, it's like sawing through an ice cube.
Hey,
You know,
Eric,
and it just dulls your blade a lot faster.
when it's that cold, sit by the fireplace, bud.
Well,
It's supposed to be that cold again Monday.
we were only working because we were so far behind. Normally, this room we're in is our motor room, and we can close it off and heat it. If it gets real cold, I try to work in here or go to the house.
Man. It gets that cold down here, it gets scary.
Go,
Neil,
if it-
if that
Go
happened
inside.
every time it got cold, Rick and I would get nothing done.
Yeah, at one point, single digits was warm here. We were below zero for a month.
Yeah, I went up there and seen Will and them, and it wasn't but a few weeks later. It was 0 degrees.
You
It
do
was
realize
high.
we don't
Yeah.
own that kind of clothes to be in that cold weather.
Absolutely not.
No, that was
Most of my
you-
wardrobe is short sleeve.
you did well on your timing, Neil, because
Oh,
we
A
had
week
some,
or 2 later, it would have been horrible.
it was brutal. It was brutal. It really was. But and then it was 60 last week, and today I think the low tonight is in the teens. It teases you. We've been getting teased with
But just
spring weather.
you just got to go in the caves, man.
Just
Yeah.
exactly hunker down.
It was
100
80. It was 80 degrees yesterday. They calling for a high of 35 Monday. I'm like,
That's
come
right.
on.
Well, we had a high of 29 today, and we were both in short sleeves.
Oh Lord.
We thought it's
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah. So Eric says on his channel, right, on one of his videos, he says, when you get a deep freeze, your driveway, and I said, a deep freeze. I said, you guys don't even know what a deep freeze is down there. A deep freeze. What do you're at the top of your ground,
Well,
got a
those
little
freezes
ice
are
on it, or what?
A puddle
South of the
froze up,
Mason
right?
Dixon line, that is a deep freeze.
I'm not
No.
supposed to have a nice driveway for 2 weeks, okay? We're
A
too
deep
far
freeze
south
is
for that
a
crap.
deep freeze is a thing in your basement with venison in it.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
A deep freeze
love
is,
that.
2 foot of solid soil up here. You know what I mean? The ice is 2 foot down.
Oh my
Our
Lord.
frost is almost at the 4-foot mark this year. That's how cold we've been.
Oh wow.
No, y'all keep
Cold
that
for
mess.
long times too.
Yeah.
We won't be
Right.
digging any holes in the dirt until probably May.
Y'all tough.
What was the other one? The other one was
So now,
the other
Will,
one
on
was
your
Eric
big
says
mill,
The other one was Eric
ahead.
says he's going to join our roundtable. And I said, man, Eric, I said, you are the roundtable, dude. You're in on it. You own this as much as we do now. You know, you're a permanent member. Everybody here owns this just as much as you do. So
we were talking about blades a minute ago, and I see where Jason Harris put that on there that has a customer that cuts ice into blocks. Do y'all have a do y'all offer a carbide blade?
that was him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We have carbide blades, and they're great. But the carbide blade is also a blade we like I was saying about the size of sawmill. We counsel customers about carbide blades because they're expensive and they're just as easy to ruin. You know, I mean, they're just as easy to ruin. People think, oh, the carbide blade, that'll be great because it'll cut through anything. No, it'll get destroyed by a nail just as well as a, you know, they're like 100. Jason would know, but they're like $150. You know, and if you've got dirty wood, or if you got debris in your wood, if you're not confident in what you're cutting, you know, yes, it's great until it gets destroyed, and then you've got they're out of. Jason says they're out of stock right now, but then you've got a $150 blade destroyed versus a $30 blade.
Correct.
So you have to be very, you know, we again, it's not that I was about to say we're selective about who we will sell them to. No, we will sell them to anybody, but we try to educate the customer to be like, this is not the be all and end all. You have to really have confidence in what you're cutting, or be willing to, give up a blade that costs, 4 or 5 times what a normal blade costs.
I could see you using them if you were selling super high grade wood, you know, a high end maple or high end oak or walnut or something, and you had to have that superb finish off the sawmill. The cost of the blade is immaterial if you get enough money off the back end. But if you're just trying to saw dimensional lumber, there's not enough money coming off the back end of the mill to pay for a $150 band that you ruined, unfortunately.
Right. I mean, so it's got to be high dollar. It's got to be sinker logs, tropical hardwoods, which also those logs are, again, there's also a reason to have carbide with a tropical hardwood or with a sinker log. So you're right. It has to be a very high value product in order to compensate for the risk.
If I sawed hickory and pecan every day and could sell it for what it was really worth, I would probably run a carbide blade. But I don't saw hickory and pecan every day.
They tell me, Eric, I don't need one for pine.
No.
Not softwood.
Well, maybe if you get a little frost on it.
Okay,
Biggest
so
innovation coming to portable sawmills in the next 5 to 10 years.
okay,
Well,
so Will, let's say I'm a customer and tell me when I should have a carbide blade.
Well, the first thing would be, do you have a lot of confidence that your wood is clean inside and out? In other words, do you know that it doesn't have metal inside in it? That would be one question. The other question is to Eric's point, like, does the value of the wood justify risking a $135 blade versus a $30 blade? That's, and the answer is sometimes yes. Like in tropical hardwood, where you would rather risk a $135 blade than risk your $20 blade doing this because that wood is so valuable. So it is sort of an economic question. I think it is cost benefit analysis. Is the benefit worth potentially having that blade blow up? Or maybe sometimes time is money, and of course you don't have to change that blade as often. We do have customers who buy carbide blades don't ever change them. They just cut with the same blade for say 2 days and then throw it away. And for their, and I wish I knew this, I could think of a specific example but their calculation is it's not having to change the blade is valuable to them. Because that's the thing about the carbides is if they don't get destroyed, they will stay sharper a lot longer. So there are customers who, that for whatever reason, that is a benefit to them that's worth buying the carbide blade. So that's the other, I guess, thing on those blades.
All right.
You want to go back to that question, Will?
Yeah, the biggest innovation. If I knew, I wouldn't tell you. I hate to say that.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because what is the next frontier? I don't know the answer to that. As far as mills.
I've got a question for you on that same topic.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Timberking maybe making a true professional mill non-portable?
You mean like where you have a little booth and?
Well, maybe not even a booth, but a non-portable, the next step up above your biggest mill currently.
I mean, keep in mind our biggest mill currently is quite a bit bigger than our competitor's biggest mill, our main competitor's biggest mill. So our main competitor's biggest mill really competes with our 2220 mill. That's not in price. Our 2220 is less expensive. But that's so, do I see us, potentially we could make a bigger mill in the 2520, I guess. We do have our 6,000 mill, which is it's a very wide, it's a 60-inch width of cut machine. So maybe, and if we were to make a big hydraulic machine with a 60-inch width of cut, it couldn't be portable because it'd be too wide to go on the road. So,
well,
is it possible? Yeah, it's possible that we would go in that direction. I will say though that we have occasionally tried to sort of go. We've had products we've tried in the more sort of industrial realm. We've tried to dip our toe in there, like sort of with Baker, some of those people, and it's not what we're good at. And just like no disrespect to Baker, because I have a huge amount of respect for that company. Baker is amazing at doing industrial equipment. That is what they're great at. They make portable sawmills, and their mills are pretty good. But that's not what they're really good at. And because being really good, actually, to my mind, and this gets back to what we were talking about molders, being really good. Making a good piece of equipment is only part of that equation. Making a good piece of equipment is only part of being really good. The other part of being really good is having institutional knowledge, knowing how to take care of your customers after the sale. And we're really good at that in the type of mills we make now. We're really good at that in the type of molding equipment we make now. The industrial area, that's not, we don't have that.
Well, and the problem you run into is if you step your toes into that water, not only do you have the industrial mill, you got all the industrial downstream stuff that comes with it.
Right. Exactly.
Conveyors, tables, monstrous edgers. I mean, you just open it up a whole ball of wax.
Whole thing, and just it's a different customer with different expectations, and I guess one of the upsides of us being a 100-year-old company, I mean, we know our customers, and our customers now are basically it's the same niche of customer that it's been for 100 years. So that's a great strength of our company.
But it's a
weakness in the sense of we're very locked in and know that, but there's a different type of customer. A customer has a factory, with 30 guys, 40 guys working there. We don't know that customer as well.
You get that 2520 and put that extension on there, you have a stationary very high production mill. That thing is a monster. I watched I watched him one guy cut like a 24-inch hickory, and it was unbelievable just to see how fast he could blast through that. I mean, it was kind of amazing.
I do think that's one thing that's not understood about our product line is that, and I'll name names just because, the LT70, the mill that the LT70 in our product line is comparable to is our 2220. The LT70 costs more. The LT70 sort of costs what our 2520 costs. But Wood-Mizer really doesn't have a mill that's comparable to the 2520. And that's not like me being a jerk. Like that's an empirical fact. Like the 2520 has 2 log turners. Wood-Mizer doesn't have a mill with 2 log. So I'm not being a.
Oh, you're telling me everything I know. I own one.
They have them.
You run a
They have them. They're not mobile.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
they have them. They're not mobile.
Right. But I'm saying in terms of what we do, which is a mobile mill, and I'm not trying to make anybody mad. I'm truly not. I'm not here to do that. I'm just saying that.
The reason I asked the question is because when you reach the top of the market, LT70, 25, 20, the next step is $150,000 step up.
Right.
There's a little room there for somebody to fill a niche.
Right. No, that's helpful.
For just a little more production than what your 2520 will do, or the LT70. Because I've looked, and the next step up is a big leap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got 10 years to work on it.
5 to 10.
5 to 10, yeah.
5 to 10, yeah.
But it's
Now,
mainly
Will,
for everybody to stay in, for you to stay in the portable sawmill niche, and that's pretty much what you're saying is that's what the company is there and going to perfect that.
It's hard, it's like any business. You want to grow, but you also see these businesses, that make bad decisions to go into, go full hog into new markets or whatever, and don't appreciate what they've got, right? Or like
Right.
you'll see there'll be a restaurant and they're like, we're so successful here, we're doing so well, but man, if we had twice as many seats, we'd do so much better. So they move across town to a bigger location, but they've abandoned their core.
And that's all comes down to kind of that meeting when I come up there and we talked and we went through the whole history of it, which I will have a video coming out on it soon on the history of Timberking, but how Bell Saw sold to Foley, and then they went all directions and ran down products, and then you ended up with it.
Right. Yeah, you can lose focus on the core of what you know how to do well.
Well,
You're spending so much energy trying. I mean, it's good to learn. It's good to explore new things. But if you spend so much energy on that and neglect your core, then that can be a problem.
Yeah, every business does the same thing. We do the same thing in our sawmill business. We don't sell lumber that we can't buy locally. If I can't buy the tree locally, I don't market it to be available. And you got to find a niche and get in your lane and stay in it. You don't turn your eyes away from other opportunities to make money, but you got to be known for doing something.
You can't take your eyes off your lane.
Right.
If you to pursue other things, you can pursue other things as long as you're keeping your eyes on your lane. I completely agree.
Yeah, that's why we're doing a building addition this year. We're going to add a bed extension to our mill. We'll be able to do 30-foot stuff. It's the same thing we're doing. It just expands the option. And I bought a 37-inch belt sander. We'll be able to belt sand wider slabs, and it's still within the lane that we're in. I'm not out here putting in septic tanks or digging wells or.
How do you those 37-inch slabs? How do you plane those?
I'm gonna run through the belt sander.
Oh, because I know a company that makes a 37-inch planer that's a hum.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Tell us, Will, who is it?
Who could that be?
I'm
Just putting it
I
out.
don't want to do a lot of
putting that out there.
just
One
to
for
add
Will.
value to
Ding,
what we
ding.
already do.
Ay.
Oh man.
I got a question
So-
for you, Will.
Yeah.
Is there anything that our buddy in North Carolina that's done to his mill that you guys are maybe thinking about or implementing an improvement on existing?
I mean, there are things we have done. The specific one I can think of, it's embarrassing that we hadn't done this. Like, this is one where, he would say we're idiots, and it's like, yeah, kind of. I mean, the one we've done is he lengthened the dog clamp. Yeah,
It's clamped.
which it's like, I mean, that's one where you're like, you just feel like an idiot. I mean, I was about to say it's so obvious, but it's obviously not obvious because we didn't do it. But it's like, in retrospect, you're like, how do we not do that?
It definitely helps you flip your cants a whole lot faster. Even
No,
though
No, absolutely. So that's a specific one we have adopted. I'm trying to think.
Well, that was with you saying that, you hit the nail right on the head, because that was exactly what I was wanting to hear you say. I had known what he has done to his mill, and in my opinion, that would be the most important one.
Yeah, no,
that I can see.
Yeah, no, it's
For
a
sure.
he is a constant innovator. He wants, he loves the machine, but he's always trying to make it better. And I mean, some of the stuff is, not well. Anybody who makes stuff for sale, it's like it's a balance between, making a good product that you can be proud of, but you also obviously have to make a profit. And so you can't, ideally our machines would be machined from a solid block of stainless steel, right? Like that would be ideal. But then you can't, and then that's an exaggeration, but it's, you have to sort of pick and choose things that are, because that idea, the dog thing, that's the other thing about the dog thing. I mean, our additional net cost on that is probably like $3. It's literally, once we tool up to do it, it's a little more steel. That's it. We don't have any more. So, that's just one. That's one that's like so easy to implement, such a no-brainer. I'm trying to think of.
Well, that too. Some features on your mill are going to be super important to one guy, but maybe not so much to the other guy.
Right. And it's putting your money in the places that are going to be the most
Beneficial,
broadly appealing. Right. Exactly.
Right.
I will say that, and I don't know that this, specific things that we've improved over the, relatively recently would be the toe boards on all of our fully hydraulic machines have been significantly beefed up in the last 2 to 3 years. Actually, the toe board that we were using, and they can be retrofit, by the way. We always do try to make stuff able, if possible, to make stuff able to be retrofitted. So those can be retrofitted, but that was actually the last. This old mill we made up until 2008 called the B20. There's still a lot of B20s out there. We had one in for service just a couple weeks ago. There's very few common parts between that machine and our current machines, and the toe board was the last common part from that.
The B20, is that your edger?
No, the B20 was our portable mill.
Okay.
Until our hydraulic mill until 2008, when it was replaced by 2008-09, it was replaced by what is now called it was called the 2000. Now it's called the 2020. The edger's called the 900.
Okay. So is that what Chilcoots down in Peoria has? Are you familiar with your buddy down in Glendale, Peoria, Chilcoot's Mill?
I'm not.
He's got an older. He's actually got a 2520, and he's got your older resaw.
I should know all of my 2520 owners by heart. So
yeah, he's down in Peoria, Glendale. Chilcoot's. His card's out in my garage. Gary, I think his name might be Gary. Gary Chilcoot's.
I'll have to look him up. But yeah,
when you guys were talking blades, he actually he had a deal with Mercedes where he was cutting all their inlays, and I asked him how many times do you make it? He's like, I make one cut with each blade. So some of that higher end stuff that he was actually milling, he was making one cut.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, that would be there's an example of a carbide application, right? If you're making super high dollar stuff for Mercedes Benz,
and he was actually using it on a 1200 mil in his little stationary mill that he had. He's got 2 Timber Kings and he's got the Edger. Gary.
And that's the other thing. I think that would be again a super high dollar thing. That's another, in some ways, another great use of a manual mill, right? Like, because again, you're right there, man. You're right there with it. You're listening to it. So weirdly, like that's so interesting, but it makes so much sense that for a very high dollar thing, you want to be right there with the wood, So that's cool.
Oh yeah, some of the stuff that he had down there, I go down there and make a habit of stopping in and seeing him every time I go down there, just to say hi. But a lot of that stuff and a lot of that wood down there that they have in Arizona is super hard, dense material.
Right.
So,
right.
But he's kind of cornered the market on some of the stuff that he does, and he was cutting for Mercedes.
Wow. There used to be a company, I don't know if they're still around. There was a company south of Kansas City that did a lot of veneers for like Bentley and Rolls-Royce, and again for those high-end European car makers. But that was a huge. I mean, they did the peeling, like they had knives to peel the veneer logs into giant sheets.
Well, Gary's he's a pretty loyal Timber King sawyer. So I like to harass him when he'd want some wood miser dimensions, and I'd like to kind of harass him every time. I'm not home to Gary.
Right.
No, but he's a way good guy.
Yeah.
We actually had him on here last year for a minute.
And it's nice. I mean, and that's the thing about. I mean, look, that's the thing about rivalries of any kind, right? Usually, the rivals have more in common with each other than anybody else, right? I mean, whoever runs Woodmiser, I don't even know who it is, but I got more in common with that guy than anybody else on earth, and yet we're opponents. But
I went to my first Bunyan this last year and shared a booth with Woodland Mills out of Canada. Talk about solid leader people.
Those are nice guys.
Yeah, Jay was there, and after Jay seen the customer base after that Friday, those guys were on cloud 9 all weekend. They passed out 3,000 hats. The customer base was just, everyone didn't have the exact same goal, but they were all like-minded individuals.
Right.
Hopefully I can see you this year, Craig.
What's that?
I said, hopefully I can see you there this year.
We'll get you there.
Well, now, the Woodland guys are super nice guys. I met them at a show in Canada years ago, right when they were starting out. Very nice guys, very smart guys. They actually, this is a crazy story. We had a guy who shall remain nameless, who was doing not technical drawings, but he was doing exploded drawings for us. Okay. And had done these exploded drawings for like the manuals. And then and then a couple of years passed. And we'd paid him, mind you, this is important to the story, but we'd paid him to do the drawings. A couple of years passed, and we got a new purchasing guy, and he was involved in some other stuff, and he wanted to redo the manuals, which was great. I was like, great, yes, take some initiative. I mean, and reprint them or whatever, or redesign. I can't remember what he was doing. But we didn't have the electronic copies of these drawings. So we called the guy and we're like, hey, man, you know, do you have these on file? Because we can't find our electronic copies of the drawings you did for us. And he's like, I absolutely have them. We're like, great, okay, great. And he's like, $50,000. We're like, what? I mean, we would just think it was a courtesy. Like, you've done the drawings, we've paid you for the drawings, we can't find the files, so you would give us those files. And he's like, $50,000. So went back and forth with the guy. He wasn't going to give us the drawings, and we weren't going to give him $50,000. And, you know, and for $50,000, I mean, they were kind of out of date anyway, and whatever. So we just parted ways with this guy. A few months later, the Woodland guys who I had met and was kind of friendly with called me up, and he said, there's some guy trying to sell us your drawings. So this guy was getting on the phone to these sawmill companies trying to sell the drawings. It was just unbelievable. It was just like the most, and this is a big statement, but I have to say that in 30 years of doing this, that may be the most unethical thing I've ever come across. And because the other thing is they weren't shop drawings. Like, you couldn't build a sawmill from these drawings, but he was trying to sell them to the Woodland guy. Anyway, that's, sorry, long story, but you know, just a day in the life, I guess. So needless to say, that guy doesn't do, but actually that guy, he called like 2 or 3 years ago, he called us up and was like, hey, you know, let's let bygones be bygones. And we're like, what? You know, you were trying to sell our drawings to another company that we paid you to do, and you want to let bygones be bygones. I don't think so.
Ay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the kind of thing you just can't, you know, you can't foresee that. You can't get ahead of that because you just can't imagine anybody would do that. So anyway.
Live and learn.
So, as an American sawmill company, do you have a relationship with any other American sawmill companies? We found that a lot of these companies do have relationships with each other.
I really don't. Now, interestingly, I have, Craig, just so you know, man, I have tried to make friends with a guy at Woodmiser. I send him a little email every Christmas. I send him a Christmas email, and he always gets back to me. He's always like, okay, Merry Christmas to you too, man. I have tried, but no, I don't really. I mean, I guess I haven't been in touch with the Woodland guys in a while. Those guys I was always pretty friendly with. Part of it is, you know, we don't do shows. And so I think that's where
I
a lot
noticed
of
that at Bunyan.
Yeah, that's where a lot of those relationships maybe start. I mean, we used to back when we did shows, for instance, we were pretty good buddies with the Baker guys. I don't know if they do the portable sawmill shows anymore, but
They're at Bunyan. They were there.
yeah. So we were buddies with those guys years ago. Friendly, and they'd help us, we'd help them. I mean, we were you know, but since we don't do shows, there are not a lot of you know, personal relationships. We have a lot of respect for our competitors because, you know, we know what they do and they know what we do. You know, we
were basically doing the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, our rivals are also the people we have the most in common with. I mean, we have a lot of respect for, you know, cooks. They do a great job, and they're great folks, and take care of their customers. You know, I mean, and a lot of them, like, we're not we're not really a direct competitor with Woodland, at least not at this point. So that always makes it easier. We're not, we're obviously a direct competitor with Wood-Mizer. We're a direct competitor with Cooks. And so that makes that a little, tougher because you're fighting for the same
customer base.
Yeah, exactly. But there are things that we have in common, and it is funny because in a lot of industries, like there will be an industry organization. So even though we battle it out, we recognize that we have common interests, and we don't. That's not something we really have in our industry, and that's a shame. And again, tried to the problem. I guess the problem really, though, the only way that something like that would work is if Wood-Mizer were involved, because Wood-Mizer is the biggest, of us. So and in some ways they don't have an incentive.
There's Daryl right there.
Remember I told
that could be Daryl right there, buddy.
I told the alarm guy 9 o'clock, and it's 9 o'clock. I probably should wrap it up, guys, if that's cool with you.
Yep.
That's fine.
But let me make sure I don't get arrested. Give me 2 seconds. Hey, dude.
See, that is his wife. He's saying it's the alarm guy. Get me out of here. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, on that question on the lube right there, Eric, I completely agree on the diesel fuel that with that Southern Yellow Pine with all the pitch. I mean, that tank probably holds 4 or 5 gallons. If I leave it half full, I can cut for a solid week on that. I mean, it doesn't take very much at all
I use 3 to 4 gallons a week.
Maybe.
Solid all week long.
Yeah, I mean, it's very little.
And even I know the manufacturers can't recommend it, and that's fine.
No, that's what I was going to say.
The manufacturers can't recommend it, but it's my meal. I bought it. I'm going to run what works. There's a 5-gallon bucket of spindle lube right over there. Everybody says is the best crap ever made. It's garbage. It don't work. I've tried it.
I absolutely agree with you. It is your mill. You use it how you want. But you have a Wood-Mizer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm helping out my friends at Wood-Mizer. If you have belts go bad prematurely or bearing races go bad prematurely, don't you dare call Wood-Mizer and get mad at them about it. I'm joking. You gotta, I mean, it is hard on anything that's plastic or rubber. So you just got that's correct. It absolutely works. I mean, we can't recommend it. It absolutely works the best for that situation, but you do have to know that it's hard on.
And I use basically. And I'll be honest with you. We first started. We took what everybody said. Use dish soap and water, and in an 8-hour day, I'd go through 10, 15 gallons of water, and the mill just be covered up. And when we sold that mill, the only rust that was on that mill was because of running water.
Right.
This new mill's never had water in it.
Your blade guards and everything. I mean, your wet sawdust packs in there. It starts rust. There's a guy right down the road from me who runs soap and water forever in his 2000 mill, and it looks 20 years older than what it's supposed to look. Yeah. And not only does diesel keep the pitch off your blade, it also takes better care of your blade because it puts that oil film on your blades.
No, absolutely.
And we use very little. Diesel costs money. It's $3.70 a gallon right here now.
That's the thing with Gary's all his upgrades on his mill, the wiper system. The blade wiper system keeps it from atomizing and blowing all over the place. It's put directly on the blade with the wiper system, and you don't waste a bunch of extra stuff.
Yep.
I'm just saying, Neil, don't you ever try to get me to warranty guide roller bearings. That's all I'm saying, man.
I'm about 4 to 6 a set. I always got spare ones.
I keep a 10-pack of guide wheel bearings for that reason.
And I also grease every morning before I start. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just that the preventative maintenance is the best maintenance you can possibly put on any equipment.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
And
Best
you
we've
go,
found
you know-
is actually transmission fluid.
Yeah, good ATF on your up and down movement, any of your moving parts, anything that's going to get sawdust sprayed against it.
On your rails and your chains on
Yeah.
the Timber King, what it rides on, it keeps all that down. Your mill always runs a whole lot smoother.
I can clean my mill up before we take lunch with my hand. Reach up there and grab the rails and just wipe the sawdust off of it. Reapply some ATF. We come back for lunch. We'll saw till quitting time. I can reach up there and wipe it off by hand. Reapply some ATF, and that pitch don't stick.
That's right.
To the tower on a wood miser.
Guys, I got to run.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
all
you
of
very much, Will.
Thank you all so very much. It was really fun. Real pleasure. Be glad to come back sometime if you'll have me. But if you
Anytime.
don't, I won't be hurt.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Hey, wood miser guys, like I say, if you ever have the opportunity, I would be more than welcome the opportunity to make some connections over there, because I think it would probably strengthen. There are areas where all of us could potentially work together. So just if anybody ever asks, I'm more than open to talking. So appreciate it, you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will.
It was an honor. It was an honor.
All right. Bye-bye.
I see Joe Main jumped in on our chat. Good to see you, Joe.
Hey, Joe. He just got home, he said.
Oh,
He's been on a
That
hot
was
date with Mama,
great.
probably.
it is 10 o'clock.
So yeah, no sawmill manufacturer can recommend diesel.
That's right.
None. They
No,
just
they
cannot
can't.
do it.
They cannot
Man,
do
your
that.
sawmill catches on fire and your sawmill shed catches on fire, and they recommend you put diesel on there and you're done. You know what I mean? They're done.
Yeah.
They get sued and they're done. Now diesel's not going to catch on fire, but I'm just saying, sawmill sheds catch on fire, not because of diesel, but they do.
Yeah, well,
and
it does wear out parts. Don't get me wrong. Let's see.
So you guys remember when I was the only one in this chat promoting diesel?
And we heard it again
Yes.
and again.
Yes.
Yep.
Over and over.
And over
Yes.
and over. And now I'm just
Several
being
videos
quiet.
later.
I'm
Yes.
just being quiet. All right.
You're gonna go through bearings. You got to have extra bearings laying around. They're not overly expensive.
Are those
Bearing
Chinese?
bearings.
Are those Chinese?
Unfortunately, they are
Yeah.
on the LT70 with the drip system. You got this little quick disconnect, and
It's also a one-way valve.
it's a one-way valve. And I've tried to replace it with something else, and it's so proprietary, nothing will work. And they're about $18 a piece. Every time
What is it?
I'll order a couple of them.
What is it?
It's
Wood
just a
miser.
little
the-
one-way valve.
For what?
It's the lube miser system.
When the pump
Oh,
says run
putting
fluid, it'll go past it, and then the check valve will stop it so it don't all leak out.
and you're putting it through the lube miser.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is part of the lube miser.
Yeah, it's part of the lube miser. It
Right.
does wear on
I just
part.
didn't realize you were still putting it through the lube miser, the diesel.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What I have on mine, of course, is I put a solenoid from the lube tank down there. So when I turn my blade on, the solenoid opens and then I get the drip. And
You
then-
did what Gary did.
That's right. And it's fabulous. When I was cutting on the road and especially using soap and water, you have to use so much of it that anytime you want to like stop the mill or something, you're running up there, shutting a valve, you're wasting so much. And that right there was night and day difference. And then when I use diesel, like I say, I can cut a feature.
On our 35, you're standing right here at the operator station, and the tank was right here within reach.
Right.
And what I had done is I put a quarter turn ball valve, and underneath it, I put a small one for a metered valve.
That's right.
You just basically open the valve, and then you set your meter. And at the end of the cut, you could just reach up there and turn it off, and you didn't waste nothing. We didn't use much more oil than we do now, but it's more convenient with the lube miser because it only runs when the blade's running. It actually only runs when the mill moves forward.
Right.
So to each his own, but we're not going back.
Yeah.
No, I'll never go back. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to
One
go
thing we've
that
actually
route.
started doing recently is using off-road diesel, just because got the big tank and started getting it. It
Can't tell no difference.
Can't tell any difference at
No,
all.
I use off-road.
Price tag, but that's about it.
You're not driving it on the road. Why would you use on-road diesel and pay the tax?
Well, we don't have a off-road dealer right in my normal area. It's about 5 minutes further, maybe 10 at the most. And now I've got a 100-gallon bulk tank, so it's worth to when I go over. If I'm going to go get 100 gallons, it's worth to go over and save 35 cents a gallon. That's about what I saved the last time I got 100 gallons.
So your county in North Carolina let you bulk 100 gallons on site?
Yes.
Yeah, I
had some excavator buddies here that were local that they'd let them store their diesel, but not that much unleaded. Their 150, 200 gallon unleaded tanks, they took them away.
Yeah, I don't know about unleaded, but diesel, I think most states in America, 100 gallons is the limit per tank. If you've seen these Thunder Creek trailers, they got 800-gallon tanks on them. That's how they get by with hauling 800 gallons of fuel to the job site without having to have hazmat and endorsement and all the other rigmarole.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I don't think this will apply to the other guys because of the temperature, but have you ever had your diesel drip gel up? The diesel gel?
No. So the guy pulls up and fills up my 250-gallon tank of diesel. I don't know where you guys are getting 100-gallon, but I get 250 gallons at a time. And the very first thing I do is dump in the AMSOIL anti-gel so it doesn't freeze up. It's good to like -40 when I dump that stuff in.
Yeah, up there you have to.
Yeah, the guy he'll come fill me up in like August, and I'll be up there dumping in that anti-gel, and he'll be like, you don't need to do that until December. And I'm like, I know, but if I don't do it now, I'm gonna forget, and it's gonna be January. It's just gonna be a big thing of Jello.
60 gallons at a time, and it doesn't have time to gel up around my place.
Well, my tank, that 5-gallon tank in mine, because I don't saw near as much as you guys do.
That's how much.
And mine is a drip every 2 seconds, and I've had that 5-gallon tank up there for probably 9 months now.
Well, my diesels, my mill's diesel, the drips diesel, the tractor's diesel, and you're running everything all the time.
See, I'm only I've got a tractor that's diesel. That's it.
Hi, Jen. I don't know who's messing up there. Oh, Eric.
Yeah, the propane heater run out of gas.
Oh,
It's time to quit. The
Put
heater's
some
gone.
diesel in there. Put some
I
diesel in
hadn't
there.
been over. I just heard a lot of air.
No. There may or may not be a diesel heater behind it, but you wouldn't be able to hear us if it turned on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you ready to wrap this up?
Yep. Enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
But
It was a good show.
What do we got next month? He was in here, right?
William
Next
Prophet.
month is William Prophet.
Pirate Solutions Forestry.
Yep. Pirate
He
Solutions
survives a big
Forestry
storm tomorrow.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Yep.
Super good guy. Met him at Bunyan. Could have talked to him for 2 days.
And that's on the 21st too. The third Saturday next month is the 21st. This
Correct.
is the 21st. So
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
It's all right.
All right.
It's already created, so all you guys got to do is add to it, whatever.
yep, we will. We will see you next month.
Okay.
All right,
Good to
guys.
see you,
All right,
Paul.
everybody.
Likewise.
Thanks, everybody, for stopping by tonight. And we really appreciate you guys engaging with us. And we will see you on the third Saturday of next month, which will be the 21st. Make sure you join us for William Prophet and Pirate. What is it, Craig?
Pirate Solutions Forestry. Cape Cod.
Pirate Solutions Forestry YouTube channel.
Cape Cod.
Correct.
Cape Cod.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we will catch you next month.
Everybody stay around just a minute. We want to thank everybody for stopping by the show tonight. And remember, it's the third Saturday of every month that we all gather and are on the show. See you later, guys.